1 week after a successful 2010 draft.
And another solid pick by the Oakland Raiders.
The Raiders' new faces have emerged.
All I can do is step in and try to do what I did at the University of Alabama.
Some looking forward to new beginnings.
We have an opportunity to be a really good football team.
While others begin where they left off.
This can be a different year. We've got another chance to do it.
Competition is widespread as the team's only minicamp welcomes the opportunity for some to get noticed. For the 2010 Raiders, the journey starts here.
With the 8th pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Rolando McClain, linebacker, Alabama.
And all the Giant fans hoping that he'd be the guy anchoring the middle of that Giant defense. We'll have to buy Raider tickets in order to see that.
A primetime moment for a primetime Raider back on the night of April the 22nd. The NFL Draft in primetime for the first time ever. And with the 8th overall pick, the Raiders take linebacker Rolando McClain. Welcome to our Raiders Report, the offseason special. I'm Greg Papa here in Alameda. This is just the third time since the inception of the common draft in 1967 between the NFL and the American Football League. The Raiders used a first-round pick to take a linebacker. But Rolando McClain is not just any linebacker. He was the Butkus Award winner last year and an NCAA champion on the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. The Raiders stayed on defense in round 2, taking Lamar Houston, a former 3-technique defensive tackle from the University of Texas, who the Raiders hope to convert to a base defensive end. Their next 2 picks were offensive line, highlighted by Bruce Campbell, the 8th overall pick in round 4, number 106. And then later in that round, 2 picks later, they traded up to get Jacoby Ford, the fastest guy of all the players in Indianapolis, the wide receiver from Clemson University. The Raiders were very busy throughout the draft, not only selecting rookies, but also trading away future draft picks. On day 3 of the draft, the Raiders gave up a 4th-round draft pick in 2012 to get quarterback Jason Campbell, a former first-round pick of the Washington Redskins, a guy who has started each of the last 2 years and put up tremendous numbers. The Raiders early in the offseason gave up a round 3 pick for Cameron Wimberly, formerly of the Cleveland Browns, and Quentin Groves. They gave up a 5th-round draft pick in this year's draft to get him away from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Raiders obviously have been very busy the last couple of weeks fortifying their roster with rookies, both drafted and undrafted rookie free agents they signed right after the draft was over. They also brought in the new guys they made trades to get, and along with the holdovers, all of them came together last weekend for the Raiders off-season minicamp.
You're gonna have to go for a physical right now. Glad you're on board, baby.
What's up, Raider Nation? Glad to be out here and finally get things going.
Take care of that 12 and over, man.
I got it.
Happy to be a Raider, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to get going.
Minicamp 2010, we in there.
was eager to get back to playing football, and I got to get out there and run around and have fun again.
Keep working, baby. Keep working. Champions on three. 1, 2, 3, champions.
So a lot of energy on the practice field last week for the 3-day minicamp. The young players are all obviously energized and excited, but the veteran coaches as well. The Raiders have brought in Mike Waffle as their returning defensive line coach. He was with the Raiders earlier. He was with the New York Giants most recently, where he was a Super Bowl champion. And they also hired in the offseason a new offensive coordinator in Hugh Jackson. A lot of energy from Hugh, formerly with the Baltimore Ravens. When we come back on this edition of the Raiders Report, the offseason special, you will meet a couple of the newest Raiders. Later on, we'll talk to offensive lineman Bruce Campbell. But up next, we're going to sit down with the #1 draft pick, the new Raiders middle linebacker, Rolando McClain.
This is how we thought it would go. This is the best player, and it fits an important need on our team to help shore up our defense. The more you watch this guy, it was pretty easy to feel as a football coach that, man, he's really got his hand on this thing. He really came back to us as a coach on the field. He's a guy that controlled the entire defense, made the call, adjusted, never came off the field. To get a player of Rolando's caliber with the 8th pick, extremely, extremely excited.
Yes, Tom Cable and the Oakland Raiders were very excited to get Rolando McClain with the #8 overall pick, but I think Roe was excited and the people around him. Welcome back to our Raiders Report, the offseason special. We saw it on TV, one of, I think, the most genuinely excited reactions of anybody getting drafted that day. Who were all the people just diving all over you and hugging you?
It was just a lot of family and friends. I elected not to go to New York just so I could spend that time, get that experience with my family and friends, the people that helped me get to this point right now.
Did you have an inkling that the Raiders would be taking you, or did they kind of surprise you about taking you that high?
I had no idea at all. Actually, like in the process, we weren't even contacted by the Raiders too much. But the day of, Coach Cable called me and he said that they wanted me to come play for the Oakland Raiders, and I was ecstatic, and it was a wonderful day.
Yeah, and one of the things Coach Cable said after drafting you, what was important was to put a champion in the organization. Take me back to last year, playing for Coach Saban. You guys had so many big hurdles to get over in your conference, but to get through them all and to be the BCS national champions, what was that like?
It's like a dream come true. You work so hard, and every team in the SEC or every team in the nation always say or break it down with champions. And you do it for so long, and you finally buy into it. And for the first 2 years of my career, we were struggling. Not a lot of success, but especially last year, everybody bought in, and all that hard work and all that unity that we had, it all paid off in the end.
Talk about the relationship you had in the middle of that defense of the 34 with Coach Saban on the sideline.
A lot of my teammates call me Coach Saban on the field, or bigger, stronger, faster Coach Saban. He obviously has a complicated 3-4, but in order for that defense to succeed, you need that smart guy on the field. So I was that guy for him. I felt like I did a pretty good job running it, but I owe all my success to my coaches, especially Coach Saban.
What are the major differences playing in the middle of the 34 with a linebacker to your side to being the middle backer?
I've noticed already that in the 4-3, my defensive linemen do a great job of keeping some linemen off me, so I have more freedom to run. In the 3-4, I'm always head up over the guard. So every play, if it's a run to me, I have to go take on this guard. If it's a run away, I have to go take on the guard. As opposed to out here in the 4-3, sometimes I have the freedom to be able to move and run something to make a play.
It's your first mini-camp experience, first taste of life in the NFL. How does it, the speed of the game, with all these great athletes, how are you acclimating to what's going on?
I think the speed is not that much of a difference. Playing in the SEC, and especially at Alabama, we had so much competition in speed. It's not too much of a difference. I mean, obviously you got guys like Darren McFadden. He doesn't even surprise me because I played against him when he was at Arkansas my freshman year. So, I mean, I don't know. Guys are a little bit bigger, but it's football, and you love to play football, so I'm just trying to step up to the task and then do my part. So this defense, you can't say, hey, the Rook messed up.
No. And you're in here in California under the blue skies. You're loving life, living out here on the West Coast now?
I like it. It's a lot better weather here than it is back home in Alabama.
It's like this every single day, Ro.
I see.
Welcome. Welcome to the Oakland Raiders. Rolando McClain, Raiders #1 draft pick. When we come back on the Raiders Report, our offseason